So you're thinking of selling your home in 2025 in the North Dallas market, and you're wondering why you should go ahead and start now. So in this video, we're going to go over about 6 or 7 reasons why preparing now gives you the competitive edge. So why does preparing months ahead of time give you the edge over other people that are going to be selling their home in 2025?
Yeah.
Well, because by the time springtime gets here in 2025, which is usually January, February, or even March of any given year, sellers have already started putting their homes on the market. Well, you want to be the first one to do that. You want your home ready to go.
Yeah.
You want it dressed right, priced right,
And ready to sell.
and ready to go while everyone else in your neighborhood is still doing what we're about to talk about. Okay, so the second thing, in order to get your house ready and to give you that edge over other sellers, is decluttering and organization.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the first things we say when we talk to sellers. They're like, what do we do first? Hey, all of these things need to go.
Everything.
Yeah.
I know that sounds silly, but it is one of the most vital steps, and it really can be one of the longest because, man, moving is not easy.
No,
we know that it's really stressful.
We're real estate agents, and we don't like moving.
I mean, we do this every
It
day.
was a mess.
Yes, we do this every day with people, so we see how stressful it is. So
give yourself time.
Yeah, so you're going to go ahead and you're going to pack up those closets, things that are under the bed, in your cabinets, things that just aren't necessary. You're going to take down probably half of the stuff, if not more, on your walls.
Right.
And we're going to go ahead and declutter and organize your home, because that is one of the first impressions. When a buyer opens that door to your home, they're immediately going to see if they can even envision themselves in your space, in your home.
Perception is reality. So if they perceive, if they see that it's a mess, they perceive that the house could follow suit, whether that's true or not.
Absolutely.
But that's the perception.
It is the perception of the buyer. And when it comes to organizing things in your home that people can see, that those rooms that are photographed, let me tell you, things in a photograph show up so much more, for better or for worse, on a photograph than they do in person. We see photos of listings every single day, and we are stunned.
We're like, what in the world is that all about?
And we're shocked because when you see the home, oh, maybe it's not so bad in person, but when you see that dish rag, or even in my case, I don't even like little floor rugs in the bathroom because it just clutters the space. It just shows up in photos. So we want to make sure we have decluttered and organized the home. That is step number 1. Okay, the next thing is you're going to want to go ahead and address repairs and maintenance now.
Yeah, if you know that there are things that are broken or that need attention, then give them attention now, rather than waiting for a buyer to come in and see an outlet doesn't work or a light switch doesn't work.
The inspector's going to find it. And
right.
You want that inspection report to be as small and as short as possible. Right. So go ahead and make sure all your light bulbs are the same. Silly, I know, but it does make a difference. You want to make sure all your outlets are working. Actually, that you have light bulbs in every place that needs one. But your roof is looking good. Maybe have your HVAC tech go ahead and have them come out and service your HVAC.
Yeah.
You know, let's make sure that all those things, maybe there was a small little leak that you just neglected under the sink. Make sure all those things are fixed. Maybe there's some dry rot. Every home, look, unless it's a brand new home, they all have dry rot,
They're
right?
Gonna have that.
And so, hey, a lot of this stuff is just handyman work. So surely you know someone, that can do some of these items.
And if you don't, give us a call, because we know people that we know handyman in specifics, but
we might not be able to help you with that, but we can still help you go through a list of things in your home.
I mean, we read in inspection reports every day, and so many of the same things pop up on every report. So most of the time we're not even surprised. We kind of learn to expect certain things.
And you never know who that buyer is on the other end. They might be someone who's bought and sold before. So they think that
they could be the handyman.
They could
fix everything.
They might be that person who doesn't understand that the house is older, and so it's not going to be up to code, and they freak out, or there's no GFCI in the bathroom. And so you just never know what kind of buyer you're going to get, or maybe it's someone who
just can't do the repairs on their own.
So they're going to ask you for every single item when it's really unnecessary.
You know, the craziest thing, we did have one inspection report come back, and the email had 33 line items of minor things like a wobbly fan, this light switch didn't work, this window had a crack. Cracked windows
replace it.
Right. Just replace
Just
it.
replace it.
Yeah.
So minor repairs like that, just go ahead and have someone come out and get those things updated
Right.
and fixed because they're going to be found.
We tell almost
Yes.
every homeowner this, especially if we come in and there's bright blue paint or bright purple paint in the kids'
Yeah.
bedrooms, we need to paint.
Yes, because a buyer is going to come in and they're going to start making a list of everything that they need to do to make the house the way they want it. Now, look, I mean, if they want to remove a wall, that's on them.
Right.
But flooring and paint go a long way. You might not, let's say you spend $10,000 on paint and flooring. You're probably not going to be able to increase your home's list price by that much. However, you now have a more marketable home. You now have buyers who aren't going to want to come in at a lower price than what you've listed for because of those items. So you might not necessarily get to list your home for that much more, but honestly, paint is something
Paint goes a long
you can
way.
do yourself.
Paint goes a long way.
We're talking neutral.
Right.
If you don't know, just choose white, but neutral paint in all the areas, freshen it up, make sure those baseboards look good. And guys, if that carpet is really bad and even cleaning it isn't going to do the trick, just replace the carpet. You know, it doesn't have to be, you know, the best carpet. Just you need to replace the carpet, replace the padding, or put in laminate flooring or something. But those two items really go a long way.
And think about door jambs where your hands touch a lot, or you walk by and you're like where you touch the door handles. Think about that, and either like, you know, the Mr. Clean dry eraser, if it just needs a good clean, or just a fresh coat of paint goes a long way. And painting, just about everybody can paint, and it's one of the least expensive ways to get your house freshened up.
Yeah. So we always say, go ahead and do that. This is not the age where you stick a for sale sign in the front yard and have 40 people waiting to come inside. So you want to present your best house. So really the first impression, other than the photos,
is when they pull up to your house.
Yeah, it's curb appeal.
How does it look?
Yeah. So we get it. There's some, you know, houses where maybe you don't like the color of the brick, but we're not talking about that. Put some fresh mulch in the flower beds. Make sure that the lawn has been mowed and edged, and you know that it's free of weeds. Put some flowers in pots. That's actually a really good one because you're not having to plant a lot of flowers, but maybe your front door has a potted plant. And you know what actually is really nice too and super cheap? A new front door mat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A new front door mat.
These things might sound silly, but you have to understand the mindset of a buyer. And we understand the mindset of a buyer. We have equal number of buyers and sellers. Truly, our business is about equal on both sides. And so we see both sides. And I'm telling you the mindset of the buyer. And in 2025, they have choices. And they're going to continue to have choices like they have had for the last year or so. Many choices. And so they're just going to move on to the next house if there's one similar to yours, but yours needs all these things. So remember that buyers today have choices. So you want to make sure that as soon as they step out of their car,
and you know
that yours looks good, because you know what that says to the buyer?
You care.
You care about your home and that you've taken time to,
and they'll see that.
Yeah.
You'll see that. We've taken buyers into homes and they've even said, we can tell this person really loved their home just by how it was presented.
And speaking of landscaping, if the fence is really that bad, either just fix the pickets that need to be fixed, or maybe you do need to replace the whole thing. We have seen some pretty damaged fences.
We had a pretty damaged.
Being in North Texas, you know, where we've got a lot of wind and things like that. So you definitely want to, you know, cut back any shrubs, you know, things like that.
A big thing, almost every inspection, it's any vegetation touching the house, an inspector's going to note, because it's a way for a pest to get in the home.
So just cut it back.
Just cut it back 6 inches from the house. If you have an irrigation system, have somebody come out and check and make sure none of the heads are broken or they're not pointing on the middle of the street or the sidewalk. We had one client, he just needed a fitting and he tried to do it on his own.
It took 6 hours.
It took 6 hours and 2 hose clamps from an automobile store.
Didn't
and then
work.
we ended up having to have the irrigation guy come out, and it was a
It
$1
was like
card.
$86 for
And
him to come
he
out.
literally, before
Yeah.
I could unlock and lock the front door,
He was done.
he was done.
$86. So yeah.
So,
Anyway,
but that's important to home buyers. The irrigation system
yeah,
doesn't work.
especially in Texas, it's
Right.
really hot. And because of that, we have foundations that can not do so well if the water is not on a
Right.
regular, watering is on a
Right.
regular schedule. And we always tell all of our
Yeah.
buyers that if you'll just water your lawn, you're probably going to save your foundation. So
Yeah.
make sure you do that. So we always pay for professional photography on our listings.
Yes.
And you want to make sure when it's time to list your home that all these things that we have talked about, that is all ready to go. Oh, you know what? One thing we didn't talk about, professional cleaning.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
spend the
Yeah.
money, unless you are one of those people who just loves to clean and you do a really, really fantastic
Mhm.
job. Go ahead and have your house professionally cleaned and make sure
Deep
they
clean.
know that it's a deep clean.
Yeah.
Because
Blinds,
man,
fans,
you really can notice
AC
that.
vents.
Really notice that.
Yeah.
So make sure we're going to add that to the list.
Yeah.
But we do professional photos. And what we've often found is, sellers give us a call. Hey, we're ready to sell. And we want to sell in 2 weeks. We can do that. We can sell in a week. But what I'm going to tell you is you have given us 0 time to pre-market your home and prime it for sellers or buyers that are starting to look.
Right.
And what we want is for all of these things to be done now, months ahead of time, ahead of that listing date,
Right.
so that we can go ahead and get the photography done and in and start marketing your home on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook,
Right.
on LinkedIn, on YouTube,
On our mailers,
on our
like
mailers,
everything.
sending it to other agents in our area, on ads, Google ads, Facebook ads. We want to go ahead and get that going, get the ball rolling. Otherwise, we have really missed a really important window to market your home. So that is why we say starting today, starting months ahead of time, if you're looking to sell your home in 2025, you need to start right now.
Even if you just started having the conversation at home and you don't know it's
Right.
3 months, 6 months, a year.
Go ahead and
Let's talk
contact.
now.
Yeah.
And let's make a plan.
Yes.
It's much easier to get, sounds like everything we're talking about, that's overwhelming. Decluttering your house. I got to paint.
But it's not overwhelming when you're
But
talking
if we
about
have several months, yeah.
Yes, but it is overwhelming. You
yeah.
want to do it in 2 weeks. And
Yeah.
by the way, we personally have done it in less than 2 weeks because we found a home we absolutely
Let's not
love.
do that.
We
I don't wish
absolutely
that
love.
on anybody.
And so we put ours on the market quickly. But
the more you do ahead of time, the
Yes.
less stressful it is.
the less stressful it
And
is.
you can enjoy some of it on that end. It's nice to paint your home, but if you paint it and then you sell it and you move out, you haven't gotten to enjoy it. So clean your
You
house up a
kind of
little
get
bit,
to enjoy that
declutter.
clean
Yeah.
house. But the bottom line is you are going to be prepared while the other sellers around you are scrambling to get their home on the market, and they won't have done these things. And so this is why this gives you the edge. And then lastly, it gives you time to have a more relaxed spring.
Yes.
And while other sellers are scrambling to get their home on the market without the marketing done, without the repairs done, without all these things done, you can enjoy negotiating, or your agent can enjoy negotiating offers for you.
Mhm.
So it is really important, if you're looking to sell your home in the North Dallas market in 2025, that you go ahead and get started so you can have the competitive edge on all the other sellers that will inevitably come out of the woodworks in the springtime, like it happens every year.
It does. It does. We have had some come and say, "Hey, we're ready to put our home in the market."
We already have them.
Can we do this in 2 weeks? What's your schedule like next week?
Yes. So we've already had listing appointments here in the fall of 2024. We've already had listing appointments, and they won't be ready till about mid-January. And that's because we're telling them you need to do all these things to get your home. We want it to be the best one in your neighborhood on the market.
Because everybody that's looking at your home is looking at all the homes in your price range in your neighborhood.
Absolutely.
So we're going to look at those as well with you and say, hey, here's the other ones that have sold and here's what they look like. What do we need to do to put ourselves ahead of them? So when those same buyers come in, they see your house and they know, okay, this is the house.
And I always have to mention, when it comes to selling your home, there's 3 things. There's price, condition, and location. You cannot change the location of your home.
Right.
Location is going to determine price. Then you have the condition of your home. The condition is going to determine the price.
Yep.
So it's price. So when your agent gives you a suggested price or price range for their home, please listen because they have all the data, and
We're
they know
researching the market
yes,
daily.
they know exactly what every other home sold for in that city, not only in the city, but the county in that region.
Yeah.
And not only do we have all the data to give you a suggested price range, we know what's happening in the market. And sometimes even the data we give you, that still might be too high because homes are sitting longer, which means the price is too high, even though your neighbor might have sold for a specific price. So another thing is when a buyer goes to submit an offer on your home, their agent has the exact same data we have. They are advising their client based on this data. Here's what you should offer. Period. And there are a lot of things that you can have in your home that do not give it value, but might make it more marketable. So make sure you know who you're working with. Make sure you hire an agent who knows your area, who regularly sells and buys homes like we do. We're in the market every single day. And that is very, very, very important that you don't just go with someone because they're your friend and they happen to get their license, but there's just part-time or they just haven't sold a lot of homes because this is your biggest investment and you need an expert on your side.
And everybody wants the most for the home. We want the most for your home. But at the same time, at the end of the day, the market decides how much
the market decides what your home is worth.
At the end of the day.
It sure does.
And you know, we're emotionally attached for our homes. Even we're emotionally attached and we probably think our house is worth more. But when you look at the data and you look at the numbers and what's sold around you, at the end of the day, that's what makes the decision.
So there's, a lot to consider when you are looking to sell your home, but we like to try to make it as stress-free as possible for you, and we want you to get the most that you can for your home. So these are just some of the things to consider if you are thinking about selling your home. So we would love to talk with you more about that and what that looks like for you specifically. So, if that's something that you're interested in, of course, all our information is in the description below. You can always give us a call or shoot us a text. We'd love to chat with you.
Absolutely.
And check out some of our other videos on YouTube. And we'll see you on the next one.